Hello everybody, welcome back. So I decided it's been a hot minute since we've done a dental video, so maybe do a little bit of what's happening in trimester 2, since the last one that I did was in trimester 1 and we talked about the amalgam fillings, which are these silver fillings. So that's what we were doing last trimester, but this trimester we're doing composite, which is like a tooth color type filling. And there's been a little bit of change in the box and some of the tools, and then I ordered some stuff on AliExpress. We are looking at buying some teeth for our next semester. So I'm going to go online and look for some teeth. Here's my Griffith University portal with all of our different classes. So in order to make sure that I order the correct teeth, I would have to go on here and go to trimester 2, and we're going to look into each of these topics under the labs for operative. I have to flip through these lectures to see which teeth that I actually need and make a count of the exact tooth numbers that I need before I order. Additionally to that, I need a curing light. So just to show what I'm talking about, this is the cure light that's being used. So there's quite a few really expensive ones, and they're the real deal. I just want a cheap one for practicing on my model. I just want to make a disclaimer that this isn't buying dental materials for a professional, like human use in clinic. This is just for models. So you can get some of the material that is similar and use it in a model to practice your actual technique. But this is by no means me saying that you should buy this stuff and use it on an actual person in a clinical setting. So we're just at my desk in my bedroom. You can see some of my stuff all pre-laid out. So I already did a what's in my box video. So this is the box that we carry into sim in second year, which is our practice heads. So they're fake patients, and we have to buy tools at the beginning of the year. So because I already did a video on this, I won't go into it in detail, but we have our rubber dam system. So this is all the clamps and stuff for that. And then we also have our cassette of tools. So if you want to know more about this, you'll have to check out the tools video, because I kind of go into them in a little bit more detail. The only thing I'll say is this section was more what we were using last semester. So this is the amalgam stuff versus we're using more of these guys this semester. So these are for composite. And next what we have is my loop. So here's my battery. I got my name on it just in case I lose it in the sim lab, forget it. And then my loops. I just have a cheap pair from Amazon since I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted. They are basically magnifying glasses that are strapped to your face. So if you're unsure what I mean by loops, I'll just take them out real quick. I have to put the light on. The light just clips on. And they look like that. Yeah, so those are my loops. If you're wondering why I bought a cheap pair means that these were only $80 for the loops plus the light. Versus if you get a professional pair, you're running close to probably, with a light, probably $3,000 or higher. So it's quite an investment, so you actually want to know what you want before you order them. If you watched my other video, you know that this is my box of goodies. So this used to have all of my teeth plus all of my materials. So I'm just going to lift it up. Because now I've changed it a little bit. So I ended up ordering a whole bunch of teeth on AliExpress because they were about 50 cents a piece versus buying them at the school or from the person who sells them on campus at our school. The teeth run about $3.50 a piece, which is quite expensive when you have a sim unit at home and you want to do extra practice. So I revamped this, added a couple makeshift dividers because it didn't have enough. And then you can see that it has all the different tooth numbers. So you have 32 teeth, 8 in each quadrant. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. Starting from the front, going back 1 to 8. So you can see 1 to 8, 1 to 8, 1 to 8, 1 to 8 for each quadrant. So I have a spot now for every single tooth. And then this is the stuff that we're not using anymore for amalgam because we already done our amalgam. So yeah, this is my at-home sim unit practice box now with all of my AliExpress teeth. And just to show, so this is my model from the school with the regular teeth in it. Some of them are slightly different colors because these ones were special and they had cavities added, so we had to drill out actual decay. And then compared to the AliExpress teeth. So we can kind of do a side-by-side comparison. So they're definitely not as good a quality. These ones have like a metal core in them that you screw into, but the AliExpress ones are just all plastic. They don't fit the models absolutely perfect, so you can see there's a little bit of gaps and stuff in some of the teeth, so they don't fit in perfectly. But when you want to do a whole bunch of extra drilling and filling practice, 50 cents a tooth, you can't argue with that. Obviously, you're going to lose a little bit of quality to save a little bit of money. So, yeah, this is my box. So that's the one that stays at home. And I got a couple smaller boxes for school. So this is my bring to school teeth. So these are the higher quality ones that I use in the actual lab instead of the AliExpress ones at home. And same as the other box, they have the tooth number labeled. So it's a little bit smaller and it can fit in my dental box. The other one was a little bit too big, so it had to sit on top. So this actually saves me a little bit of room in my locker because our lockers are really tiny. And then this is my extra materials. So here's the composite capsules. So this is the tooth colored material that goes into your teeth. Then we have, this is like the glue. So it's called Prime and Bond. This is the one we're using in the sim lab. We have our little micro brushes for applying it. They're super tiny, so I'm just gonna hold it up to my shirt. And then we have a whole bunch of other super exciting things. So we have we have our discs. They're kind of like sandpaper discs. So there's different colors telling you the coarseness, and then this is the actual like gritty side. And we have shofu points. So it's also a teeny tiny little and it's coarse. So you can well, I'll just talk about the next one. Then there's also the little cups. Everything's so tiny that I'm trying to get the camera to focus on it. So all of these things with grit on them, you place your composite and you try and get it as smooth as possible. And then this is basically like a really, really, really fine sandpaper. So you're like basically smoothing it like you would like when you're doing any other finish on like a wood project or anything like that. And then some of them are even finer so that it's more like a polishing. So very, 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 very fine. Yeah. And then some of the other things, gauze and the cotton rolls and stuff. So yeah, this is my other little box. So this one sits out on my desk and I use it quite a bit in the sim clinic. Yeah, and it's nice because they give us all of this stuff in little baggies. And if you don't buy an organizer like this, then every single time you want one of these things, you got to get it out of the little baggie. Yeah, so when I talked about the different discs and stuff, this is actually how they attach. So it's called a mandrel. So that just pops on and off the top. There's like a nice little catch. So they're super easy to change. And then you can pop it into your slow speed drill. And then here's one of the cups on one of them. So yeah, and then this is, you can see it, all of my burrs. Yeah, so that was a recap of what's in my box, trimester 2 with the composite, and now I have a whole bunch of stuff that I ordered, so that you didn't have to watch me cut open all the boxes. I already did that part. So this first thing I ordered, extra battery. So this is for my Loupes. So I ordered this off of AliExpress. It was only like 12 bucks or something, which is awesome. So they're absolutely identical. So unfortunately the battery doesn't last like a super long time. I think it lasts like 3 or 4 hours, which is enough for a sim session. But every single day I bring it home to charge it. So this allows me to have a backup so I can charge one and then swap it out. Because there was one day that I forgot my battery and I had to come back on the tram really quick to grab it, and I was almost late for my lab. So I got an extra battery, which is quite exciting. And then I got a spare hose for my sim unit. So it's got the four end. Yeah, not very exciting. Just thought I was having a little bit of issues with one of the sides leaking, so I thought I would buy a hose to repair it during our upcoming break. It's not a huge deal that it leaks because my slow speed, I don't run with the water, so I can always use that. And then, if you're like, what are you talking about your slow speed? You don't have a slow speed. So if you watched my sim unit at home video, I only have a high speed. Or should I say had. Because I bought a slow speed handpiece. This was also on AliExpress, and for this entire thing it was like $75, which is pretty decent. So it's got a micro motor, this is a surgical handpiece, so I wouldn't really use that. And then this is the slow speed handpiece. So yeah, this part scares me. Just pops out, and then you can click your slow speed on, and then it's got the threads to thread onto my machine. I'm just gonna put the cap back on to protect it. It's my first time buying my own handpiece, so I was like reading all the different things and then hoping that all of the stuff is universal, and it seems like it is, which is amazing. So last but not least, the only thing that I really, really, really needed and wanted was left till last. So probably could have done without the slow speed handpiece, but it is good to practice. But I can't practice without a composite cure light. So composite is this really interesting material where the ones that we use, you cure with a blue light. So, it's not quite in there, I don't think. Here we go. Yeah, so we cure it with a blue light. So that's how you cure your composite, which is super exciting. And then I got with a base. And it comes with a plug-in. But of course, because I ordered it from AliExpress and that's from China, sometimes you get, oh, it's just turning off. Sometimes you get some funky ends. So I got a European, so they didn't even send me a US one, a North American one that I can use my already owned travel adapters for. So because I got this stuff a couple days ago, Brandon already went and got me a travel adapter so that I can plug it into our wall. So that's one of the joys of ordering from another place like AliExpress, but it works. So yeah. Oh, and then if you're curious, this is to protect your eyes, so it keeps the blue light from shining back in your eyes, which is awesome. So yeah, that's the haul. So now I'm just going to take you out to my sim unit and hook up the slow speed handpiece and see how it goes. So we're just going to grab the slow speed handpiece and we're going to go hook it up. So you're going to get a little bit of a tour of my house. Except I'm walking backwards because I don't know how to film this. Okay. Here we go. This tripod is so short, I gotta like bend over. Yeah. Seems to fit in there okay. Now I just have to plug it in and try it on the sim head. Okay, whoop. Let's see if we can go down to Gary here. I think his name was Gary. We're just gonna make sure this works. Gotta wait a couple minutes, I forgot to turn it on. Ooh, she goes fast. Let's turn it down. It's working! Might have to kneel like this. Too lazy to get my chair. Awesome. Works, Brandon! That's it for today. Just a little bit of what's new. So, yeah, so we started working on composite. Oh, if you want to see something cool. So I've worked on a couple teeth this semester. And got a couple, so these are a couple of them. I'm not sure how this is going to work. Don't focus on my face, focus on the tooth. There we go. So that's one of the lowers that I worked on. There's another one. And then an upper. These are some of the first teeth that we did. So we start on posteriors. I got an okay mark on them. It's one of those things you have to kind of get used to the new material. So we just started anterior teeth, and I'm not sure if you could see, but this big tooth right there, that's the one we worked on recently. You might be able to see some on the inner side, but maybe not on the outside. But I actually did both sides of the back of that tooth, and I got all twos. Twos is good. You get zeros, ones, or twos. And yeah, that's about it. You can see my lovely mess on my desk. Super excited to use my new composite light. And yeah, the only downside of having a light is I have to find somewhere to source some composite from, because they only give us a certain amount of things to practice with, and we're only allowed to practice with them in the lab, so you need to find like an external source. So I still have to source some composite. I have a couple compules left from dental materials. So in dental materials, they give us a couple to like play around with, a couple different brands of each capsule in different shades. So you've probably heard of the different shades that you can use on your teeth. So people talk about A1 a lot. It's like one of the lighter shades. Don't go to your dentist and say you just want A1 because it's the lightest and whitest. They'll be able to choose and match using a color chart, and they'll use different colors to give you a more realistic looking restoration. If this was interesting, give it a thumbs up. Tell me what you want to see. I'm pretty relaxed, and I don't know what to do for dental videos. So we work on this a lot. Wrapping up second year quite quickly here. We're going into week 7 out of 12. So we've already passed that halfway point, and it's exciting. But thank you for joining me this week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.